Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DBW. I'm Jen, joined by L and Pip, and today we're here to check out a video by Sports Keto Wrestling, the strange history of the WWE Divas Division. And with Evolution coming up very, very soon, we want to give a little bit of a refresher on the history of what actually happened throughout the Divas era. Now, one thing I feel a lot of people can agree on is when exactly the Divas era took place. I definitely hear some people say not until the early 2000s. But also people say like in the late 90s as well. I would say the Divas era ended during the Women's Revolution, which was in 2016 or 2017.
Yes.
Yes. So I would say it went on for about maybe a good 15 years. So we have a really like good history of women's wrestlers from that era who are seeming to make a return, like Nikki Bella. We just saw Nikki Bella return, and Trish Stratus even. So I'm interested in seeing what's some of their thoughts about this is. You guys got any points you'd like to make?
Not at the moment.
All right, great, man. Well, hey, if you like what you see, make sure to stick around for the whole video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about it too. And let's begin.
Nikki Bella making a return to Monday Night Raw and getting dropped by Liv Morgan got us thinking about something. Nikki was the longest reigning Divas champion of all time and the face of the whole division. And though we might not remember the Divas era too fondly, it was responsible for over a decade of women's wrestling, good, bad or otherwise. So today, we're taking a look back over the history of the Divas division, the memorable, the bizarre and the questionable, as well as some highlights that were better than you remember. And with WWE Evolution 2 right around the corner, what better time to do that? You're watching Sports Keto Wrestling. My name is Liam, and today we're taking a look back at the strange history of the WWE Divas division. But before we go any further, don't forget to hit subscribe and click the little bell icon to be notified first about all of our newest videos. We're getting close to 200,000 subscribers here at Sports Keto Wrestling, and it would help us out a lot. Thank you, and on with the video. The WWE Divas division technically began in the late 1990s, inspired by the Attitude Era antics of talents like Sable, Chyna, and Sunny. Jacqueline heralded the return of the WWE Women's Championship in 1998. Sable then got herself a Playboy cover, as did Chyna. And this was WWE's attempt to show that their female talents had multimedia crossover appeal. They could be wrestlers, TV personalities, and models, or so WWE hoped. Deborah, Terry Runnels, Original Tori, Stacey the Cat Carter, and others made up the rest of the division, as did Harvey Whippleman, who got himself a run with the WWE Women's Championship during this time. Wrestlers like Trish Stratus and Lita were soon introduced, who are widely credited as two of the most notable pioneers of the current style, albeit a very early version. But for every great moment, there was a pillow fight match, a bikini contest, or a segment where scantily clad female wrestlers would grapple each other in pudding or mud or something else of that sort. A little bit too...
Why was he so freaky deaky, bro? What was up with that? What was up with the bra and panties matches? Mud wrestling? What was up with that, man? It was almost disrespectful.
Almost. It was.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was like
bro, it was
literal.
I'm like, bro.
Bra and panty matches.
Yeah, pillow fight match. Are you serious?
National TV live, by the way.
Bro, I just couldn't with boys sometimes, man. I swear.
But the thing is, like during that time period, it was very, very raunchy.
Yeah.
Like the late 90s, early 2000s was very raunchy. It was a very raunchy time period.
Yeah, it was.
So he leaned into it because that's what I guess the men wanted to see, and it helped the company out as far as numbers and ingratiating the women.
It definitely got attention. I'll say that.
I think it was, like you said, the 90s was raunchy, and it was. But we know that wrestling was for guys. You know, it was a guy's product. So they knew that getting young boys to watch the show, getting older guys getting off of work, whatever, tune into the show, they had to make some sacrifices, and the best way to do that is scantily clad women.
Yep.
My only issue is that I'm looking at this from the women's point of view, at how degrading it could have been to work like in those conditions.
They didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say they didn't care about. I just know it was not.
No. WWE didn't care. Vince McMahon did not care.
Okay.
Oh no, he didn't care at all. No, the women I don't know, but Vince, I know he didn't care. I know he didn't care at all. It made him money, so that's all the thing that mattered. But let's pick it back up. Yeah, man, that was a time.
Grading, you
It
might
was a
say,
wild
and
time.
not exactly prime athletic competition. As the 90s rolled into the early 2000s, the word divas was officially introduced as the banner the division would fly under. Names like Stacy Keibler, Tori Wilson, and Dawn Marie were introduced, and Sable came back after some controversy. More Playboy covers, more money, and unfortunately, more inappropriate segments with the aging and out-of-control Vince McMahon. For example, when he made Stacy Keibler dance
Horn
for him,
dog.
or when he had on-screen
Oh my
affairs
God,
with the
bro,
likes of
what
Trish
was going
Stratus
on?
and Sable, or the
Hey,
infamous
yo.
bark like a dog incident. Less of an
That was a
overall
time, bro.
focus
It
was
was a
taken on
time.
in-ring abilities, and a
I
greater
can see
focus
that.
was taken on visual appeal.
Why are you always writing yourself in these situations?
Because he's a
He gotta
freak.
be the center.
Bro,
He gotta be the,
he's
he
a
gotta
freak
be the center
monster.
of attention. He gotta make it about himself.
Vincent, you are a freak monster, sir.
WWE
The crazy
did
part
more
about it,
than-
this is not even the worst one. The worst one to me was the one that didn't happen, where he was gonna write Stephanie
Oh my
to
God,
get
bro, please,
impregnated by him.
bro, please, bro. What was you thinking, bro? What were you thinking? That was a terrible idea.
Yeah,
the
freakazoid.
athletic side at the time, so that's the direction that they went in. Though the women's title was still going strong, with the likes of Trish Stratus, Lita, and now the imposing Jazz chasing after it. In 2003, things started to get weird, as the WWE
Oh, the Just Now
Diva
started to
Search
get
was
weird?
introduced, with
What's that, Just
WWE
Now?
adopting a
It's
similar
weird the whole
format
time.
to the Tough Enough reality series, with a focus on finding the next female star. The contestants weren't exactly Bryan Danielson or Kenny Omega in the ring, but they looked the part and fit the mold of what the company seemed to want at the time. The competition was a resounding failure every time WWE attempted it, with bizarre segments that had nothing to do with wrestling, including where contestants played dodgeball against WWE talents, would insult and swear at each other on live TV, and did awful things to pies with The Rock present. Eventual winners like Christy Hemme, whose butt was
Reality
hungry for pie, and Ashley Massaro, who was memorable despite her short run in the
R.I.P.
company, did manage to
Rest in peace,
carve out
Ashley.
something for themselves. But few others saw success from the competition. The Divas division itself was expanded in the mid-2000s, with talents like Trish Stratus and Lita still on top, even main eventing Raw around this time in a history-making match. Victoria was a dominating presence, Melina made her
Yes.
first appearances as part
Yes.
of MNM, and the unhinged Mickey James burst
Yes.
onto the scene. Again, we must stress that the in-ring product was not the best at this time. The focus was very much on aesthetics, but there was still some pretty good matches like Trish Stratus versus Mickey James for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 22, and Trish
One of the better
Stratus'
matches
first
of that time
retirement
period.
match at Unforgiven 2006. However,
Yeah, we can agree
Lita's
on
retirement match against Mickey James at Survivor Series 2006 didn't go over quite so well due to her public humiliation at the hands of Crime Time after the bell, but let's not think about that for too long. Some of the divas were admittedly
They
used for
ruined
bad
that segment.
comedy. Gillian Hall, for example, who was JBL's chief of staff, and got a grotesque growth eaten off of her face by the boogeyman, and also gave us some of the, one would hope intentionally, worst singing in the history of humankind as part of her later
I hated
gimmick.
her
Though
so
the
much.
likes of Lita and
She was
Trish
an awful
Stratus eventually
singer.
left the
Jillian
company,
Hall
arguably
was
well
an
before
awful
their
singer.
time. Mickey James was
No,
still
thank
going
you.
strong, Melina had really come into her own, and Maria Kanellis, Ashley Massaro,
W.
and
Melina.
Candice Michelle was still knocking around. We also saw the introduction of a young Beth Phoenix, who began running through the roster at an alarming pace. Dubbed the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix went on to become a multi-time champion and one of the standouts of the division for years to come. She was as powerful and capable in the ring as any that had come before her, and that reflected in her presentation and in her success. Talents like Natalia and the Bella Twins, who would carry the division in future years, were also introduced, along with a second championship for the women of the WWE,
Yes, sir.
the much maligned WWE Divas Championship, which was a pink and silver belt in the shape of a
All right,
butterfly.
guys. Ew,
All right.
yeah, man. That I had to pause right there. That Divas title, bro. It went through the ringer a little bit.
Not even that it went through the ringer. That was the ugliest title I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah, it was hideous too.
It's
It-
given like I want to be Barbie, but I don't want to say I'm Barbie.
Bro, it's given like
The hot pink,
Like,
the white.
bro, it's given like Bratz playset. Like,
Ooh.
bro, like the metal even looked cheap on that thing, bro.
Girls. That's what giving.
Bro, no, it's just gross, bro. Like,
It was bedazzled. They had a bedazzled belt.
it was so bad. It's a meme now in the wrestling community.
It looked like
Yeah.
80% glitter.
Bro, that belt, bro, like it took them.
Why did they keep that belt for so long?
They did when they said they introduced it in like 2011, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
And we kept it all the way up to like what 2018 was or 2017. Because when we get the Raw Women's Championship?
I think like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
Okay, so this belt went on. It had like a pretty solid run for like what 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, man. Like, because it probably came before 2011. Because I remember it didn't really like AJ had the best run with that belt, most definitely. Paige's run after her wasn't as good. That's why AJ got it back so quick.
Mm.
But man, yeah.
I thought
think
Beth Phoenix did pretty well with it earlier on.
She did, but
She
I
had
always remember Beth Phoenix for her
Yeah.
women's championship reigns.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
like, her
true.
championship reigns they weren't terrible, but like she was always best as women's champion. Also, women's championship looked way better by comparison. It wasn't great either, but it looked way better by comparison.
Yeah.
Any more comments? We're gonna continue.
You can continue.
I think we're good to continue.
Yeah, cause we're making it to the Divas era. We got through the late '90s and all that stuff with Sable and everything Vince was doing. I'm
The
glad
freak era.
I'm glad he stopped writing himself into all the storylines near this time period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we start getting to the reality TV though. Ugh. Oh God.
A lot of people hated this design, and it's not hard to see why. After all, it looked more like a hair clip than a World Championship belt. Michelle McCool became the first Divas champion in history, and the short era of 2 women's championships in WWE began.
Yeah.
This would feature some highlights, like Michelle McCool and Layla's pairing as Lay Cool, where they
Yes, Lay
accidentally
Cool.
broke the WWE
Yep.
Women's Championship in half, and comically carried half of the belt each as co-champions.
That's
They
cool.
also had some less
cool.
funny moments, like when they bullied Mickey James in the universally panned Piggy James
They did her so
storyline,
wrong.
which was mean-spirited writing on WWE's part.
Piggy
They did her so
James,
wrong.
bro.
They
Piggy
did her so
James-
wrong, bro.
That was awful. That was awful. I think this
Yeah.
is part of why he had to stop that "Don't Be a Bully" campaign stuff. This is a big
Yeah.
part.
You know what made this worse? Is what her contract was ending like right after this, and it made it seem like they ran her out of WWE.
Damn.
So her contract was expiring. She wasn't renewing. So it was like
No.
we're running you out of the company via like a piggy storyline. We're gonna call you names. We're gonna bully you. Put the cake in your face. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she just up and out of there. Man, that sucked.
And that's
WWE
right
been
before
on-
she went. Yeah.
So disrespectful.
WWE being the really only real competition at this time really made them petty. Like
Oh, yeah.
really, really petty. Because don't get me wrong, they were petty before this in WCW, but they were petty when they knew that we're the biggest company here.
You got no
treat
more
you however we
competition.
Yeah, it sucked. It really bad timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something similar was done later on with the Bella Twins and Karma, known as Awesome Kong outside of WWE, with Kong never getting her revenge on the pair. Eventually, in 2010, the WWE Women's Championship was retired, as Michelle McCool unified it with the Divas title. Names like Kelly Kelly, Eve Torres, Maurice Alicia Fox, and Caitlyn made up the rest of the division, until eventually we got ourselves AJ Lee. AJ did a lot for the WWE. She managed, she was an authority figure, and also was an exceptional in-ring talent. However,
Yes,
she
AJ.
wasn't given much opportunity to show that off during her run, given that the match times for the Divas division rarely went beyond 5 minutes. But change was very much on the horizon. 2013 brought with it debut of Total Divas, a reality TV series on the E! Network documenting the lives of the WWE Divas division. The Bella Twins, Natalia, Eva Marie, and Cameron and Naomi were featured in the first season, though the cast did vary a lot throughout the show's life, even featuring UFC legend Ronda Rousey at one point. In fact, Total Divas outlived the Divas division itself, lasting until 2019, and even getting a spin-off. Paige would also soon debut, winning the Divas Championship in her first main roster match.
Yep.
Initially branded as the anti-diva who would make fun of Total Divas, she was soon a diva on the cast of Total Divas. Nikki Bella...
Yeah.
Wow.
Well-
Poor Paige.
Damn.
Poor Paige.
Damn.
Poor Paige. Oh, bro. How you can make fun of the end up on the show too? That sucks.
That's crazy.
Total Divas went on for a very long time. I didn't really expect it to be going on as long as it did.
2019.
Yeah, it went on for a really
But
long time.
I will say though that this show was pivotal in the popularity of the women's division.
It
like-
actually was. Like,
Yeah.
if you actually consider and break it down, bro, the show started like 2014.
13.
Like 2013. And it went all the way to 20. It went for 6 years. Like, it put the Divas division like it got people behind them in a way that they weren't behind them when they were on television because they never had any match length. People weren't sticking around for they were bathroom break material. People weren't sticking around for their matches. So seeing them outside the ring helped them grow pivotally to audience that was mostly indifferent to what they had going on.
It was a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Well, you can consider it a curse because it's reality TV, so that's a curse by itself.
Yeah.
But
I don't really. Go ahead.
go ahead. El.
I said I don't really think it was a curse at all because if you look at the time before, the Divas Division was really nothing at all. So they didn't even have a leg to stand on before the show. So the show putting them on the map, it really put them into the public eye. Like the Bella Twins, they benefited the most from it, and they were the most popular divas at the time on the roster because of it, and it really helped push the product.
Okay.
So I don't think it was really a bad thing because they didn't have much to do before.
You know,
Right.
when you put it like that, the Bella Twins definitely benefited a lot from Total Divas.
Yeah.
They had so many like reigns, like they got really popular online too.
Yeah.
Like they even had a moment at Roman's at WrestleMania, like Brie and Daniel's marriage was like it was a fan favorite on social media. So a lot of people got behind them really quick, and then Brie solo run actually benefited a lot from that too.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that happened with John and Nikki on Total Divas is still mentioned to this day.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
W Divas.
Yeah, like I think I agree with El. I don't see what too much of a curse was, especially when you consider the women on the show actually benefited a lot from it. I just think it was just such a degrading idea. But hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
It
It overall was a positive more than anything else, and that's what's important here.
Yeah.
The women got taken
Captured the
seriously
Divas
afterwards.
Championship off the back of the show's success and embarked on the longest reign in the history of the title, beating AJ Lee's previous record. She feuded with her sister Brie, then realigned with her sister Brie, and beat every challenger that came her way. Just forget about their SummerSlam 2014 angle involving Stephanie McMahon, and we're all good. A new generation of talent hit the main roster in the mid-2010s, with the impressive young stars of NXT's women's
Revolution
roster
time.
finally getting their chance at the big time, notably Becky
Becky
Lynch,
Lynch.
Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair. They had the Team Bella versus Team Bad versus Team PCB feud with the
I remember
hilarious
this era so
submission
vividly.
sorority
Jesus.
mishap and some welcome TV time for the likes of Alicia Fox and Tamina. Charlotte Flair ended Nikki Bella's record-setting title reign at Night of Champions 2015, ending the Divas division along with it, though the title did stick around until WrestleMania, where Stephanie McMahon and Lita revealed the new WWE
Yep,
Women's
I remember.
Championship. Contested in a
title.
triple threat match between Charlotte, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, Charlotte was crowned the inaugural champion, the butterfly belt was retired, and it was confirmed that WWE's
Thank God.
women's roster would no longer be known as Divas. They would be superstars like their male counterparts, except of course in the title of Total Divas, because that was a crossover project that was still making them a lot of money at the time. Which concludes this brief look back at the WWE Divas era. Was it perfect? No. And WWE's women have it far better today, without question. But it at least
they
had
do.
something of a range
they
and
do.
branched out into things like reality TV, which got a lot of attention for WWE in its own right. But it was the only representation of women's wrestling in the mainstream for years, which didn't do it any favours at all. The women gave 100% and really made the most of what they had to work with, despite the limitations, and like it or not, it's an important part of WWE history. Even if you can't see the positives in it, you can simply see it as a cautionary tale from a different time, which is an awfully pessimistic thought to end a video on, but that's exactly what we're going to do, because that is about it for this one. What did you think of the WWE?
Well, guys, first off, thanks Sports Keto for chopping it together. Shout out to them.
Yep.
The Divas era, in my final thoughts, was a ride of trying different things just to see what stuck. Because remember, the early '90s and the late '90s, early 2000s was very raunchy. So they tried, they did the Playboys, they did the pillow fights, things like bras and panties, things like that. Then I feel like somewhere within the mid 2000s, we started trying to take them a little bit more seriously with figures like Mickey James, Victoria, and Beth Phoenix. But I think Beth and that company still weren't the greatest representation of women's abilities in ring. I think he was right by saying that it didn't really turn direction really until AJ's introduction. Do you agree with that, L?
Actually, a lot of people do give AJ Lee a lot of credit, which she does deserve, but she kind of did it off the backs of the Bellas. If
Mm-hmm.
they weren't at the height of their careers, she wouldn't have had an antagonist to really
What?
get her pipe bomb that she got off. Like that's one of the best moments of the Divas era at that time. And
Mm,
that pipe bomb doesn't happen without the Bella Twins.
Wow. Hmm. That's true. I mean, we consider it. She really that first pipe bomb that she dropped was like it really put people into perspective of like how women's wrestling should be taken seriously. Like, I'm a wrestler. I'm not a reality TV star.
Exactly.
It took a
right.
big difference, but she had them as ammunition, and that wouldn't exist without the Divas era we went through. That wouldn't exist without Total Divas. Uh, I feel like we still would have got here, but I can only imagine how different the trajectory would have been. It would have been nearly as efficient, I'd say. It sucked that so many people probably want to be in the era we're in now, but it was just past their time, you know. Because this current era is undoubtedly the best era for women's wrestling. Uh,
Yep, they're on equal parting. They're on equal footing with the male superstars. They're not treated like. I mean, the way how it seemed, they just kind of got treated like celebrity guest cameos, even though they really weren't.
mm,
Divas did a lot of work. Did a lot of work to get people really behind them, and I'm happy that people like AJ could really just prove like, hey, it's not just reality TV that makes us good. Like we are also superstars, like the males and like everyone else in this company, and we should be taken seriously.
I agree. Um, the Divas era, looking back on it, it did give us a lot of great moments that led up to where we are. I'll just respect it on that front alone. Close thoughts from you guys?
I will say that even though I do think that the women are taken a lot more seriously now, I do think there's still another level because when matches happen on a card and it's usually if it's a big show, we know that the women are going to be the first match, and they're not going to main event at all. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, they don't even main event the Rumble. They don't get the main event either.
No, they do
No.
not.
So it's like, yeah, they are equal, but not really.
I wouldn't even go that far, because there are times when we get the men going out first on certain cards, and then women matches come in later for sure. That's not mutually exclusive, but you're definitely right when it comes to like things like chambers, rumbles,
Yeah, like
war
the big,
games,
yeah, like the
All
really
yeah, all of
big
them.
PLEs,
Money in the
like
Bank.
yeah, they don't really get the respect they deserve. Like they may get a main event match on a SmackDown or Raw, or maybe even a Saturday Night main event. Maybe I don't even think they main evented Saturday Night main event so far.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
they
No,
haven't.
Yeah,
They haven't, as far as I can
yeah,
tell.
nope.
yeah.
Uh, it seems like we have a big connection with the women's wrestlers online that's not quite translated to the script, and this is not fully because I don't see why the men can't go first sometimes, especially when I know a lot of the. Cause I know a lot of times with men's matches, it divulges into some sort of cinema or some sort of shenanigan
Yeah,
that they want to end the show out on.
right.
Right.
You're gonna have some interferences. You're gonna have a big return come out, something like that, to keep it guessing to the next week. You don't want to have The Rock come out and at the beginning of the night. Then you got the rest of the
Yeah.
show. I get it, but if they're not doing that, we probably could allow the women to go last sometimes, especially when some of the times their version of the matches are better.
A lot of the time, their version of the matches are better.
Yeah, they are.
Like I would say 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10 times the women have a better match, but 10 out of 10 times will they open the show.
Yep.
True. 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 True.
So yeah, we're in a great era now, and I see that we're really making some real momentum and actually making this stuff work long term for the women's roster. But I think we really need to see some different presentation here soon. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm Jen, joined by Elle and Pip. As always, we have been DB and we will see you next time. Shout out Sports Kita. The original video and will be in the description of this video here. So make sure you go give them some love too. See ya.